Hi, my name's Sue Ellam and I'm a tarot reader and have been for about 25 years now. And I use a mythic tarot, which is based on Greek mythology.
And hello, I'm Carrie Beleno. I am an intuitive Reiki master teacher, spiritual life coach, and I've created these questions to help give you practical advice and guidance for these chaotic times we live in. So today's question. They're all stuck together. Oh boy, another long one. This one came forward to me, and I had a lot of trouble wording it. So hopefully, Sue, you understand what I'm trying to say. How do I cope with decisions that those I love have made that I think are poor?
I understand. I suppose the addition to that is, and how do I not interfere?
Yeah, exactly. And feel lousy about it.
Yeah. Well, this is getting stuck in what we believe is the right way to go, what is right for us, and getting stubborn about it. So what we need to do is just understand everyone has a different journey, that our way isn't everybody's way. And people also have to learn by their own mistakes. But then saying that, I don't believe there are any mistakes. It's just an opportunity to learn. And so we have to get out of our own way, because as soon as we even show disapproval or I know best, we put a barrier up between ourselves and that other person, because then we're basically telling them that we don't think that they know how to live their lives. So it's important that we don't get stubborn, and we get open-minded, and it makes us have to come out of our comfort zones, because our comfort zone is our comfort zone. It might be somebody else's nightmare. So it's being prepared to jump off the cliff into the unknown and learn and talk to the person or people involved to find out what motivated them to do this. So, if it's kind of they decided to go and live in a different country where maybe it's so say not of such a high standard, kind of with hygiene or with all these different things. We don't really know this country, so therefore we assume they're going into danger. But if we talk to them and say, well, I'm interested, this is not something I could do or I'd want to do, but can you tell me why this motivates you? Why have you decided to make this decision? Please let me know. I'll be interested. What do you know about this country that I don't know about? So by showing interest, it can actually bring you closer to the person, because they won't feel judged as though they've done wrong and you are right. They will feel as though you're open to learning about and interested in their choices. But you also need to walk your talk. Don't pretend to be interested in it and then do everything you can to put obstacles in their path so they can't do it, or it's very difficult. If somebody might need some help or your help to do what they want to do, and then at the last minute and said, oh, I know I promised to help you. I was going to drive you here, or I was going to give you some money, but I'm sorry, but now I can't. Then you backtrack. Once you've, even if you still don't agree and you still think that it's not a good decision for them, you need to fulfill your promises if you've made any, and walk your talk, and be supportive of them, and be patient. Everything happens at the right time, and it won't happen before that. And this, in some ways, it reminds me of when I decided to go off to Portugal. It was something that I was driven to do. It was my intuition told me. I didn't have a job there. I didn't speak the language. And I was going to do a job in like communication with, graphology, and I started doing the tarot there and everything. And I didn't speak the language. And people thought I was absolutely bonkers, absolutely crazy. And I ended up being there just over 2 years. When I came back, then the people that thought I was crazy understood why, because that trip, or that couple of years I spent in the Algarve, were the springboard for the rest of my life. I met people there that enabled me to go to Australia, to go to New Zealand. I then knew people there. It started me off on a different journey, a journey that I hadn't been on before. And there was a man, I think he was a millionaire or something, who went to, I think it was one of the African countries, or it could be, but it was a country where there was a lot of poverty at that time. It might not have been Africa, it could be in Asia. I really can't remember. Anyway, he went there on holiday, just to have a look around. And he was so shocked by what happened to children that were orphaned and things like that. He ended up selling everything and moving there and working with these children. So he gave up his own comfort because he found his purpose, he found his mission, when he just was going on a kind of maybe a touristy holiday just to have a look around. But something touched his heart when he was there. So when people get a decision to do something, even if other people don't understand it, there's a reason. Sometimes you just don't know why people do what they do, but there's always a learning from it. We just need to get out of the way and support them, and not become one of the obstacles they have to clamber over. Those are the cards.
Indeed. The best advice I can offer as a coach is, the bottom line is, if your loved one is listening to their heart when they are making these decisions, then it is their journey. There is no right or wrong. And it's important that you keep the judgment out of their decision. I think the best help you can be for them is to make sure and help them discern what their heart is saying, regardless of what direction that is. The conversation around what their heart is telling them, what their gut is telling them, what they feel called to do is most important, rather than in checking on and making sure they're not just making a financial decision, or they're not just following someone because society says it's the right thing to do, to be certain that they are following their heart. That's how you can be the most support. And that's how you will help. That communication, like Sue had mentioned, is going to be the best way that you can help ease your fears, by having this open communication with your loved one. It's also important that we, even though we may feel like, well, they're not listening to me, they're not listening to my advice, and they may not, especially if your advice is counterintuitive to what their gut is telling them. They may not take your advice, and they may not even want to hear it. But it's very important that we still love this person, that we still have an open door policy, that we keep the lines of communication open, because we are nothing in this world without the collaboration and the relationships of the people that we love. So it's important that we keep that communication line open, and without the judgment. And quite frankly, everything about this world right now, the divisiveness in this world is screaming communication. Whether it's communication between the parties, the political parties, communication around race inequality, communication around law enforcement, of the economy, that everything is requiring us to be better communicators. We are terrible communicators. We have an idea in our head, and it is Sue and I had this conversation today about headway I was trying to make on a phone call today, and they have a thing set in their head and they can't break free from it. So it's so important that we become better communicators. So,
and another thing that's just popped into my head, we have to make sure that we're not putting our fears onto that other person as well. For instance, if a loved one is going to go and get a big dog, and we have a fear of big dogs because we got bitten when we were children, therefore we assume that they're going to get killed by this dog at some stage, and our own fear is a motivation to get them to change their mind. So we have to also not just kind of prompt them to look at their heart, but we've got to look at our hearts and find out, well, why don't we want them to do this? Mm-hmm. What is our fear around this as well?
Perfect. Yeah. Yes. Great advice.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've said enough on the matter.
So if we've helped you, please share this video and like and subscribe.
Thanks. Bye.